Hey, I'm Danny Parmalee, and if you're trying to name your church plant or renaming your existing church, below this video, I've got hundreds of church name ideas, plus a simple step-by-step guide, so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. Naming a church is kind of like naming a baby. It's exciting, it's fun, but it's also a bit terrifying, because once you choose it, you're stuck with it. Now, the good news is I've already messed up, so you don't have to make the same mistake that I did. All right, a little bit of story time. When we planted a church in Milwaukee back in 2004, we were trying to be edgy. I was 25 when I started the church planting process, so we were trying to reach people in their 20s. We polled people with a list of names that I had come up with, and the name that won was Epic 242, based, of course, on Acts 2:42 in the early church. Pretty cool. However, when we decided that having a number in the name felt a little bit too much like a youth group name, so I changed it to the Greek word epic, which is epikos. But people mispronounced it as epikos, so it even caught on being mispronounced in the community. And this is where it gets really good. Our church launched right around the time of the emerging church movement as it was taking off. And there was kind of this rebellious attitude towards organized religion. So I made the brilliant decision to not even put the word church in our name. We were called Epikos. And when people asked what it was, I'd say, we're a Christian spiritual community. And they'd just stare at me. So our posters went up all around the neighborhood, and people thought we were a philosophy club or at best a Greek restaurant. When I explain again and I'd say, we're a Christian spiritual community, they'd respond, so a church? Because I'm looking for a church. And I was like, yes, we're a church. Now, eventually we added the word church back into our name and we became Epikos Church. That helped. But even 10 years later, people around the neighborhood still thought we were a Greek Orthodox church. Priests, robes, incense, the whole thing. And because I wanted to be unique and have an unfamiliar word and avoid the word church. So here's what I learned the hard way. Creativity is good, confusion is not. I'll say it again to drive this home. Creativity is good, confusion is not. Let me give you a simple framework so you don't end up with a name that nobody understands. Step number 1, brainstorm a big list. Don't pick the first name that sounds cool. Generate 20, maybe even 30 options. Look at other church names, combine them, remix them, come up with a few maybe that don't already exist. That's exactly what the list below this video is for. Step number 2, test it with non-Christians. Here's the truth. Christians come up with the cheesiest, most cliche names. Once you've narrowed it down to 5 or 6 finalists, ask people who don't go to church which one they like and even why. A coffee shop works great for this. And as a bonus, it's a great way to start up conversations. This is one thing we did in the naming process, and it did lead to some amazing spiritual conversations. Step number 3, balance creativity and clarity. You want a name that's memorable, maybe even unique, but not confusing. Grace Bible Church. It's pretty bland and boring. Sorry if any of you who are watching this, that's the name of your church. I know great churches with that name, so no offense there. But calling it something random, avoiding the word church in it, it could be a nightmare. So you want to find that middle ground. Step number 4, check availability. Make sure the name isn't already taken in your state. You can usually do this easily by going to the Secretary of State and search registered business names. And make sure that you check for similar names or alternative names that are closely related to that. Again, I have plenty of examples of churches, for example, naming themselves Hope Community Church, only to realize that Hope Church was only a couple miles away. Next, check domain availability before you move forward. I could do a whole video on this, but find a domain that's as close as possible to your exact name without dashes or numbers, and that people can hear over the radio or read on a billboard. .com is still the primary domain that you want. though .church is now becoming more acceptable. In the early days, buy 3 to 4 domains that work. It's worth the extra $10, per domain per year, and just point them all to the same page until you find the one that works the best for you. And please don't accidentally choose a name that sounds like a church that's gone through a scandal. I've personally been surprised by church planners who choose names that, lend an unintentional association with churches like Willow Creek or Harvest Bible Chapel or Mars Hill, and on and on. It might even be worth it to Google the name that you chose and follow it up with, scandal or controversy or heresy, just to see what pops up. All right, step number 5, get input from others. Don't name your church alone in your basement at, 2 in the morning. Ask your launch team, ask your spouse, ask mentors that you trust. Don't fall in love with a name that you love and try to convince other people it's good. Get real feedback. And if you want outside help, feel free to reach out to us as well. We help church planters think through this stuff all the time. And if you need more than just help with a name, if you need help with funding or coaching or any of the planting or planning of your church, check out the link in the description. We're here to help.